There's a lot of scripture, and that would be a lot to mark. I had no idea what I was going to do, which is not up to me anyways. But he kept telling me diligence, and I was like, I don't know diligence, obviously. So I had to do a lot just to get this part. And I don't know if any of you have heard Keith Moore and Branson. And I kept looking at different things, but the only one that I really found that did diligence was him. And so I was watching a few sermons, and I was like, oh, there's 3 of them. I can watch 3 of them. Well, last night, when I finished the 3rd one, it said part 4, and I go, part 4? There was only 3. So in part 2, he had said something about going to their website, and you can get all the series. So I went on there. There's 12 parts. So I was like, well, I don't have time to watch 12 parts. So you won't get everything, but you'll get some. But the first thing I want to ask is, can God trust you with what he has gifted you with? And if you open up to Proverbs 4:23, it says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Diligence, what is it? Diligence is careful and persistent work or effort. Steadily, earnest, and energetic effort. Devoted and painstaking work. And application to accomplish an understanding. The degree of attention or care expected of a person in a given situation. Cautious. Diligence requires focus. You must choose to be diligent. When choosing diligence, do it with all that you have. In Ecclesiastes 9:10, and I will tell you, there is so many scriptures on diligence. It is crazy. But Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither you goest. And in the Message it says, whatever turns up, grab it and do it, and heartily. This is your last and only chance at it, for there is neither work to do nor thoughts to think, in the company of the dead, where you're most certainly headed. And then in Colossians 3:23 and 24, it says, and whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. We should always be doing our best at whatever we do. It doesn't matter where or what you are doing. You may say, my job is behind a counter. How can I do that for the Lord? If someone walks in, you greet them as if you were greeting Jesus. Because you wouldn't sit there and be like, hold on, Jesus, I got to finish up my phone call. Or let me finish this level. No. We're going to be like, good afternoon. How can I help you today? In Proverbs 22:29, it says, seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Diligent, as I stated, is the degree of attention or care expected of a person in a given situation. We must do what we have said or promised. If we are diligent, our word or actions need to match. If we say we will be there at 7 p.m., be there at 7 p.m. Diligence is understanding your time and their time is important, not just one or the other. If we are not diligent, then what are we? In Proverbs 12:24, the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Are we diligent? In Proverbs 12:27, the slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. In the Amplified, it says, the slothful man does not catch his game or roast it once he kills it, but the diligent man gets precious possessions. Are we diligent or slothful? Slothful is the opposite of diligent. Slothful is lazy. In Proverbs 12:27, slothful in the Hebrew or the Greek or Latin, I don't remember which one, and I cannot pronounce the way, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut so I don't butch it. But it means lackness, slackness, slackening, deceit, and treachery. A slothful man does not catch his game or roast it once he kills it. In other words, they only do half the job. They don't ever finish. Proverbs 22:13 says, the slothful man saith, there is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. And also in Proverbs 26:13 through 15, it says, the slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so does the slothful man slothful upon his bed. The slothful hiddeth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it against to his mouth. Slothfulness or laziness always has an excuse. If you're using weakness as an excuse, you are keeping that weakness. We need to eliminate slack and diligently execute. We need to eliminate procrastination and diligently execute. We need to eliminate slothful behavior and diligently execute. We need to eliminate excuses and diligently execute. Putting things off is just a step to not doing it at all. Proverbs 6:9 through 11 says, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, but he that sleepeth in the harvest is a son that causeth shame. Proverbs 6:6 through 8 says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. Has anyone ever seen a lazy ant? If you leave a sandwich outside come summer, in no time there'll be hundreds of ants, all doing what they can to take that home. We must be diligent in all areas of our lives. In Proverbs 27:23, it says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to the herd. And my flock, in my case, would be my family and my household. If I'm laying in bed and I hear Brooklyn crying, I have two choices at that time. I can either get up and go see what's wrong, or roll over and go back to bed. I can go, God, you know what's wrong, handle it, amen, roll over and go to sleep. But that's not being diligent. But I put my faith in it. But faith is diligence. But I have got to get up and get in there as fast as I can to see what's making her scream and cry. Because Brooklyn is my flock. I need to do all I can in that moment to secure her. My motherly duty is the diligence in this situation. I still need to pray and have faith in that situation. But me saying a prayer and going back to sleep is me doing half the work. Yes, I have the faith, but not the diligence. In Ezra, I don't know where I was going with that. In Ezra 7:23, whatsoever is commanded by the God of heaven, let it be diligently done for the house of the Lord, or for the house of the God of heaven. For why should there be wrath against the realm of the king and his sons? In Hebrews 6:10 through 12, for God is not unrighteous to forget your works and labor of love, which ye have shewed towards his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. And we desire that every one of you do shew the same diligence to the full assurance of the hope unto the end, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promise. Deuteronomy 15:10 says, thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto them. Because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. Deuteronomy 23:20 says, unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon I said this word 7 times, and it's going to get me again. Usury. But unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to, in the land whither thou goest to possess it. In Deuteronomy 30, verse 9, it says, and the Lord thy God will make thee plenteous in every works of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over the fathers. Proverbs 21:5 says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to pleasantness, but of every one that is hasty only to want. Diligence is being devoted. When you are devoted to things, things line up. Diligence will promote you, put you in a place of honor, enlarge you, advance you, put you in a place of authority. We are responsible for our success in life, or we are responsible for our lack of success. We have all been given the same measure of faith, the same promise, same power, same Spirit, and the same Jesus. What we do with that is all on us. The thing that determines who we succeed, or who will succeed and who will not, is our attitude. Are we diligent or are we slothful? So the next time you want to put it off for later or tomorrow, just remember today is the day, now is the time. Do it now and do it well. So I'll ask you one more time. Can God trust you with what he has gifted with you? And that was short, but that's all I have.
Then we hear what God puts into the less mature. The younger folks, haven't reached the mature age. But I want to hear what God is speaking to the younger generation. And that blessed me. Diligence. That's a word we don't hear much today. But it's something for us to really ponder and think about. Proverbs, we see, says a lot about this. It seems like every time I turn around, I'm going back to Proverbs for something. And sometimes I kind of shut it real fast because it slaps me. And I don't like getting slapped because I'm afraid it might knock my teeth out. Even in my own home, But I want to thank you, Chris, thank you. Because that right there tells me that God is ministering. Now, I know she's not a child. Yeah, she is a child. She's her child. But she's a younger generation. But we can learn a lot listening to the younger generation, the same as we can. I like what you said about the store. I walk into some of these places and the people working there look at you like, I'm sorry you came today. You can't get off of their cell phones. And then you got the people checking out, they can't get off their cell phones and put the stuff up there out of their basket and everything. And I was thinking today, I wonder what would happen. And I got a deal the other day from AT&T. We're so sorry that we had problems with communications. And I said, sure wasn't no problem with mine. I wish maybe it affected mine a little bit. But I wonder. I sat in the doctor's office today up there in Joplin. And they can say what they want to. The men are as bad, if not worse, than the women on their cell phones. So women, don't you let them push that over on you. And they're sitting there, and they call this one person 3 times, and he's just right there, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, he must be playing games. And finally got him back there, and I think, what would happen? And it's liable, they're liable to try to bring it on us, to shut down communications in this country. But there's one communication they can't stop. They can do what they want to, but we still have an open line. And he was the very wireless, he was been wireless from the very beginning. And so, again, thank you. That got me thinking on some things. And then she used that word slothful. I said, and I said, Lord, that thing I put off today that I jumped up and tried to get it taken care of real fast and run into the door on this side and turn around and run into the door on the other side there. And I said, well, we got the door running into there. We don't get nothing else done. We run into the door today. And so why not just laugh about it? So, a merry heart, good like a medicine. I'd like to see more Christians smiling every once in a while. Put a smile on your face and cause the devil to wonder, what are they doing? What are they thinking about? Anybody got a testimony tonight?
I do. We were down to 2 medical bills.
Oh, I thought you